network. So what we're going to do is that we're going to map our virtual machine's logical switch, the database logical switch, to this famous port 18 VLAN 160 on this hardware gateway. And you don't have to remember the IP address of all those stuff. Well, if you have a good memory, you can, but it's not really very useful. I'll drive you through the example. So first, I'm going to configure my replication cluster. You remember those RSNs. You select as many hypervisor as you can based on what your hardware vendor supports. Here I only have 2, so there's no problem. And my cluster is configured. That's a one-time configuration. You don't have to think too much about that. In the next step, I'm going to go to my Arista switch, and I'm going to point it to my NSX controller. So there is something relatively funny is that in the OVSDB terminology, the NSX controller is called a manager, hence the confusing CLI here. So we have an NSX manager, but it's something completely different. So be careful, manager here means controller. And we also have had recently in the spec a change of the port from 6632 to 6640. That's why it's specified here, if you want to know everything. Now I'm going to extract my certificate from this HSC, and I'm going to select it in order to cut and paste it. Next step, I'm going to create my profile in NSX. So remember, I just click plus, give a name to this profile, Arista, why not? And I'm going to paste my certificate in it. Very easy, a little refresh, and you see that this connection is now up. So I have established connectivity to this OVSDB server, and we have enabled BFD by default. Actually, we want you to keep this BFD enabled. We will not support your design if you don't keep BFD, in fact. That's only for troubleshooting purpose that we allow you to enable or disable BFD, but it is really critical that you pull your replication service node in case they fail. Otherwise, you could black hole your traffic. That is not multi-hop BFD, that's the question. It is not multi-hop BFD because the BFD session is running through the VXLAN tunnel. So basically, from the perspective of BFD, it's a single layer 2 hop. You want to protect your VXLAN session. So now the last step, I'm going to have my virtual machine pinging the server and vice versa. So right now, of course, it's not going to work because they're not connected. But in the next step, I will attach, I will create the binding between the database logical switch and my port/VLAN on the switch. So I'm going to the database logical switch. I'm attaching the hardware port. I have my Arista profile that is here by default because that's the only one. Again, there could be several of them. There is only one switch, so it's already pre-populated. I'm selecting my port 18 in the drop-down menu. And then I'm going to specify my 100 VLAN, my 160 VLAN, and I click OK, and the ping works immediately. I swear there is no cheating here. So look, host unreachable, as soon as I click OK, it starts working. Here I cheated a little bit. I'm going to deconfigure the binding, and then the ping times out. I cut a little bit because you don't want to wait 30 seconds for the ping to fail. So now I've disconnected my binding. I remove my binding, and you'll have host unreachable that starts popping up. So you see, it's very simple now. Once you've integrated your hardware switch into your infrastructure, it's very simple to make your mapping dynamically. Again, here I control it from vCenter. This can be done from REST API. This can be done by any other kind of management platform.